I want to talk to you today about folate versus folic acid. And as Americans, we're pretty familiar with folic acid, especially women. It's been added to prenatal vitamins for a very long period of time to counteract the risk of a neural tube defect. So this is very early on in pregnancy to make sure that there isn't any defect as the spinal cord is forming. And so folic acid is something that we think of as a friend, but it turns out that folic acid is not, and it can be very easily overconsumed. Now, it was back in 1998, Monsanto was gotten very involved in the agricultural business, and but it was 1998 that the law was passed for mandatory fortification, and this was in grains. So basically all breads, all grains. If you see fortified or you see enriched flour, which you can read almost any label of a food that's been already produced for you versus you making it yourself, and you'll see enriched or fortified if it's a bread or any sort of flour product or grain product. And what's interesting is that folate naturally is found in nature. It's found in green leafy vegetables and citrus fruits. It's found in beans and legumes. But folic acid is not found in nature. It's absolutely man-made and manufactured. Now, while getting back to our friend folate is very protective for methylation, which is how your body protects its DNA and manufactures good proteins, also protects against cancer, so it's empowering for the immune system and increases your natural killer cells. So these are all good things. Folic acid can do the opposite, especially when you're getting too much. So there's a risk of cancer, especially colorectal cancer, and then it can mask a B12 deficiency. So a B12 deficiency can be getting worse because you're taking too much folic acid and that is being missed. So folate is repairing your DNA and doing wonderful things for your body, and folic acid is easily overeaten because especially most Americans are eating way too much over-processed food. So this is ultra-processed, over-processed. Again, if it's a bread, if it's a grain, if it's a cereal, you'll see enriched or fortified. So as soon as you see enriched or fortified, what it's enriched with is folic acid. And it's only 1 milligram, going above 1 milligram or 1,000 micrograms, that would be mcg, or 1 milligram mg. Above 1 is too much. So it's not like our body tolerates very much. And so the thing that I was concerned about was that they talked about long-term that folic acid can affect future generations because of how it alters the DNA. So it's not having just an effect on you, but your future generations if you're going to bear children. And so, this is something that's been around, 1998? So 27 years, this enrichment and fortification has been happening. And now we're seeing the downsides of it and how easy it is to get too much, once again, because we eat a highly processed diet. So, I'm always talking about gut health and maintaining ideal gut health to prevent hiatal hernia syndrome, to keep a strong immune system. A healthy gut is an absolute necessity for ideal health. One could very easily say with certainty that if you don't have a healthy gut, you can't possibly be healthy. The two could not coexist. So this is just another way that, unfortunately, your children, if they're eating a lot of processed foods, are affecting their future generations as well as themselves in a very profound way on a genetic level. So really look to the processed foods. There's no benefit for them, but now make sure you're really avoiding the enriched and the fortified, because these have long-term dangerous side effects. So I hope you find this informative, and it's not hard to make steps like this. It's a change, and granted, change takes time, but we all agree that the ultra-processed foods are terrible for us long-term in so many regards. Insulin resistance is something I've been talking a lot about, and these are the kind of foods that get you there. They get you obesity, they get you type 2 diabetes, long-term type 3 diabetes, which is another name for Alzheimer's disease. So there's no good reason to consume these foods, and there's a very good reason not to. So again, I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this information. Give it a thumbs up, and we'll talk soon.